Are you looking to take your guitar playing to the next level? Well, look no further, because today I'm going to be teaching you a few essential tricks guaranteed to enhance your guitar skills instantly and help you avoid problems that could lead to soreness, frustrations, and heaven forbid, injury to your hands. So, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, these tricks and tips are for you. Hello everybody and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Jeff Davis. Just coming off an incredible week-long spring vacation where I took my 15-year-old son to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, spent some awesome quality time with him, had a wonderful time and saw some things I didn't even know existed, some artifacts and different things about musicians that I had never known. But enough about me. This video is for you and I'm excited to teach you today, so let's grab our guitars and let's get going. Alright, so the very first thing we need to talk about, one of the very first problems I see with students is they come into the lesson and they say, my fingers hurt. Now, I do understand that part of learning guitar is kind of accepting the pain of pressing down on the fret, but I would be willing to bet that you're overdoing it. So a lot of times when I have students that come in that ask me that question, why do my fingers hurt, I watch them play and what I notice is that they're pressing so hard on that string. Now, I understand also, I'm very much aware that we live in a very stressful world. I mean, even if we're driving down the road, if you notice next time you're driving down the road, you're probably holding the steering wheel too hard. Or if you're writing with a pencil or pen, you're probably holding that pen or pencil way too hard. So, what I learned when I was studying classical guitar, which was a massive breakthrough for me, was to understand that I only needed to press so hard to get a note to sound. So, watch what I'm doing here. If I start over here on the 3rd fret, if I play this note, I can press down super hard, the note starts to go sharp, but if I press lighter, it starts to buzz out, right? Here's the exercise I want us to do. We're going to start up here at the 9th fret. What I want you to do is to play this combination of fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we're going to do something different. We're going to practice what my teacher taught me. It's called blip playing. I want you to practice so we don't hear anything. Now I know this seems odd, but I want you to become aware of what it means to play without pressing hardly at all. Just getting your fingers to barely touch those frets. So it'll sound like this. From there, what I want you to do is to press just a little bit more, but you barely bring that note into focus, all right? So the exercise will be this. First of all, to practice 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top string, 2nd string, and 3rd string by not getting any sound, just touching the string. Then I want you to barely press until you just hear that buzz sound, and then press a little bit harder until you hear a note. What you're going to notice immediately, how you've been overdoing it. All right, another common problem is sore wrist, right? So let me know in the comments below, when you're playing, does your wrist ever hurt when you're playing? Right? Some students will come into the lesson room and they'll say, you know, my wrist is a little bit sore today. Maybe they've been practicing too much, or maybe they've been practicing in a way that they've been squeezing the neck, right? What I want you to be aware of when you're playing is be aware of the tension, right? When I was studying classical guitar is a much more difficult instrument to play because the neck is much wider. Also, it's harder to press down on the notes. There was a really good book that I read. It was called The Natural Classical Guitar by Lee F. Ryan, and one of the points in this book that he makes is that you should be aware when you're overdoing it. So one thing that I learned through this book and through my lessons back then was that sirens should go off when I'm overdoing this, right? So when I'm playing and I start to feel any tension in my wrist, anything in my wrist that starts to hurt, you got to stop and let go. Just know that it's not like weightlifting. You really don't want to put too much pressure on your wrist, because once you do that, these tendons, are these called tendons? Let me know in the comments below. These muscles here, I know this is the bicep, right? But I think these are the tendons in the arm. If you put too much pressure on them for an extended period of time, you can get tendinitis. You do not want that. I have friends that have gotten that and it's very, very painful. So what you want to do when you're playing is be aware of too much tension and stop and let go. So if I'm playing a bar chord, right, and I start to feel tension in my wrist, I'm going to stop and let go. Now the other thing is this, I'm also going to be really aware of what my wrist looks like when I'm playing. A lot of my students hear me say this. As a matter of fact, in my bar chord video, I talk about this. What we really want when we play is what's called a straight-wristed fist. We don't want this. We don't want a twisted wrist because you don't have leverage like that, right? So we know we can pull if your wrist is straight. when you pull, you're going to be amazed. About 80% of the pressure you need can come from pulling and 20% can be from squeezing. So what I want you to think about is be aware when you start to feel that tension, stop, let go, shake it out. And then when you go to play again, be aware of a straight wristed fist. Make a fist, keep it straight, bring it up to the guitar. And when you go to play, think about pulling instead of squeezing. Yeah, the notes go a little bit sharp, don't they? Right? But a lot of students, as I mentioned earlier, we tend to overdo everything, right? Guitar is a stress-free zone, right? We want to make sure that we're approaching it from a very relaxed way, right? Okay, so summary of that would be just to, when you go to play, I want you to hold this down, hold whatever chords you're playing down, even if you're playing single notes, and be aware of too much tension, stop and let go when you need to, and pull against that neck. You're going to notice a huge difference. All right, now as an added bonus, you will start to experience a little bit of fatigue in the joints of the fingers. There was a really great master class I had with a phenomenal guitar player, probably one of the world's best classical guitar players, David Russell. He's just such a wonderful human being, by the way. Great player and a wonderful personality. He shared with me one thing that he did all the time, which I thought was very simple but very effective. What he would do is he would stop and take his hand like this and do this exercise where he would kind of pull and just kind of make a little wave with the finger. It's kind of interesting, but it kind of relieves a little bit of the tension in the joints of the finger. All right, so in addition to that, just remember that you should always spend time before you start playing every day with your warm-ups, your scales, and your exercises. So in conclusion, it's important to have the correct mindset by being aware of how much tension you are adding to your playing. So whether you are pressing too hard with your fingers or overdoing it with your wrists, we need to keep ourselves in check by practicing lighter and stopping and relaxing the wrist from time to time. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you found any value in this lesson, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and make sure you leave a comment below if you have any questions about the lessons. Remember that it's my passion to help you learn on the instrument, and connecting with you is what makes it all worthwhile. Putting together these videos is a labor of love, and hearing from you gives me that connection to know I can keep going. I'll see you in the next lesson.